Hello, this is Danny from Danny Design Studio, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make this lovely stationery folder. This was my summer workshop that I did. You could have done it online or you can do it in person, and it basically is a stationery folder that snaps shut with a magnet, and then inside you've got a pocket here. I call that the left hand pocket on the tutorial, and this is the middle pocket. Then I've designed it so that it fits a long slimline envelope. I've got flip flaps here that come in a 6 and a 6, so that's the landscape ones that I've done a little calendar for, and this flip flap on this side is the profile one that fits perfectly our little UK book of stamps or standalone stamps in this side, and yeah, it fits an envelope. But let me show you the other one I did, and inside here is part of the summer workshop. I did some very simple straightforward cards, 2 designs of just using the leftover DSP that's in your pack. So, and it's a lovely gift. It would be a lovely gift to give to somebody who writes cards, sends cards rather, and especially for Christmas, I think. So it will be on my website, and in it is a tutorial I would send to you. So let's get started. So basically I got the recycled card from all the speciality papers. There's a thick piece of card that is never used. We just recycle it. It goes in our recycling bin, doesn't it? This is a 12 by 12 inch or 30.5 by 30.5 piece of card, and we need 3 pieces in order to do this project because it's quite big. The dimensions are 24 by, I haven't got it to hand, 24 by 16 and a half, and the thickness is 4 centimeters. So I'm going to try and attempt to do this in inches as well. So if you are a demonstrator who prefers inches, then it will be in that as well. But give me some time because I've got some more. I've got another workshop this Saturday. So out of your DSP, you need to choose 2 lots of, no, 3 lots of DSP. So you need double sheets. You need one for the outside, the outer cover. You need one, a plain bit, that's what I've chosen, a plain bit for the inside, and then I've already chopped this up. That is for my pockets. I wanted flowery pockets. So you need 3 lots of double sheets, outside, plain inside, and then a flowery inside, and you have to make sure that that coordinates with that because that is the inside. So let us break this down now. This is the inside. I'm going to make sure, I'm going to glue these together, but I need to make sure that they are glued in the same direction. You don't want one upside down. So I'm going to turn that round, and I know from that direction of that pattern that that is the right direction. So then I'm going to put a bit of tear and tape all the way down right to the edge of this piece, and this off. If I can see. There we go. So I'm going to just tear a little bit off. And then I made sure that it's the right direction. So I'm going to put that just so that it covers what I've just stuck on. So I'm going to take that off a little bit. Again, just take your time. Take the rest off. Make sure it's flat, and then you are going to have a join on the back cover. Somebody put another piece of coordinating DSP on the back cover just to hide that join, but it's on the back cover. I could have done it in a slightly different way, but I didn't want to make it any harder than it is, so I left it like that. So then in your blue and white packets, I have pre-cut for you, for those who are doing the actual workshop, I pre-cut for you some card, and I've got numbers at the top. Now those numbers correspond to a certain way of aligning these on. So you're going to put the 15.5 first, then the 3.9, then the 16, 4.2, and then the 7. So now if I can just angle it so that you can see the whole thing, you've got a big excess there, but I'm going to take that off screen, and you're going to get about an inch at the top, inch at the bottom, and an inch or so at the sides. So I'm going to put it on straight with a 2mm gap in between. Align it in this order. It must be done in this order. So then my glue, I would use a good amount of glue. I'm using Tombow. I'm using a wet glue because I've also need time to actually align it and make sure it's well positioned. Right. So that one, doing it in real time just so that you can see how I'm doing. And then this one, the next one is 3.9, bit of a 2mm gap, remember, because you need to fold up your card. I'm checking all the time that I'm getting it in the right order, because I've sort of muddled it up a little bit now. Lots of glue. You're not going to see the numbers at the end of the day, so again, a bit of a 2mm gap. Or if you find you've got a thicker card, whatever the thickness of that card is, I mean this is actually quite a thin card, they all vary, you see, this is the trouble. And while it is semi sort of glued, I'm gonna make sure that it bends, okay, and that it's flush on that side. Bend it again. It's not going to come off because it's stuck, really. That one's stuck, so I'm going to do this one now. Remember that little gap. If it comes out at the side, it doesn't really matter because you're going to be covering it all up. I'm just going to move that along a little bit, and right, so it will move slightly sometimes. So I've bent that one up. That one should be dry now, so I'm going to bend that one up. It's got to bend at right angles. You've got to have enough give on the paper. That one is going to go there. Okay, so I'm happy with that. So then I'm just going to take a ruler, and whatever is at that side, which is just under 4 centimeters, I'm just going to, you know, there's no hard and fast rule about this. I'm basically I can't find a pencil, so I'm just going to have to reuse a ruler. So I just need to cut that, so I'm going to cut it with just my scissors. You're not going to see this, so I've done it so many different ways. You can put it in your trimmer, it will fit, but you're not going to see this edge, so I'm not fussed. You can keep that bit. Beautiful paper for maybe something else, part of your cards that you're going to make. So then the next thing is you want to cover this. So I'm going to cut up every imaginary line that goes, those sort of folds. So if you imagine an imaginary line, I'm going to cut up there. With the corners, I'm going to leave a couple of centimeters. I'm going to go straight across, but not right up to it, and I'll show you that bit. I've done this a few times and I felt this was the best way to do it. So going to try and get it in my screen shot and cut up here. Now you can do a little tapered bit, so you don't want the paper to go over these folds because that will not help it fold. So that's your join. And then again, this corner, I'm just going to go straight across, but leave about 2 millimeters. I'm just going to taper these now a little bit. I don't want the paper to overrun that join because it will make it harder to bend. Right, get the rubbish out of the way. Just get this out of the way, so put it in the bin. Right, so you get something like that. So then I start with the bottom first. I'm going to fold that up, and that is going to go over this. Use your bone folder. These join bits I'll tell you in a minute. Get to that bit. Nice crisp edge, then put lots of glue down. So that's going to go down. My stand is in the way. There we go, that one. using your bone folder. Okay, so that one is done. Opposite side, again fold it over so you get a nice crease, helps to the glue to stick, and the paper's already bent. Can you see that? Just about. Oh, then again glue. Nice lot of glue. Right, so that one I'm going to go first. That one. Right, there we go. Remember that I turned it upside down, so that is the right way. So then I'm just also bending it, making sure it bends nicely. It's all nice and flush and straight, no glue globules at the back. So then it's the side pieces. Now with this side, let's show you. You've got that little bit at the side here. Now if you take it and then you're gonna just ease that over, and you're gonna get that little bit at the top, just so that otherwise if you cut it straight at the corner, you'll show the little cardboard underneath. So I felt that it's best ease the paper over so it's already cut, and then you've got that little bit, a straight bit, and then it goes down. Same on the other side. So little straight bit, this is smaller than the other one, and then it's a neater finish like that. And then I'm gonna glue. That's going to go over, nice and folded right at the end. Using your bone folder. So then you get to the other side, do exactly the same again. Like I've got less this side, but I'm just, first of all, I'm going to fold this over, and then just fold that over better, and this side as well, so you won't see the cardboard. It's a much neater sort of finish. Lots of glue, and then push that down. There we go. So that is your top, your folder, and it should fold this way. This section here should fold over like that. Depending on your pattern, it's not necessarily going to match up, so just be aware of that. But now you've got to do, I'm going to do the plain inside, so I'm going to cut it. I need 2 pieces like we chose before, 2 pieces, and it's the same measurements as the card basically. So doesn't matter. Look at that gorgeous pattern that I'm going to waste. I think the hardest part is always choosing the paper, isn't it? So 15.5. Right, first of all, actually, what I'm going to do is cut it, I know, to 24. Doesn't matter what direction, but I don't know why I turned it. So I'm going to cut it so that the length's all the same. That can be used for cards. And then I'm going to cut the first section. It's going to be that one. Second section. Now that's not enough for the middle panel, but I'm going to do the next panel. That's that one. And this one should be, so you need 2 pieces of double-sided. That's why you need 3 lots of doubles. So that should be that one. And then the last panel is slightly more because I want the magnet fits underneath. So, but you do not stick the last panel. So that's what you should have. This last panel, put it safely to one side, not with all the other bits. Put it safely to one side because that is going to hold your magnet as well. So this, if you think it's slightly too big, then just take a little bit off. I'm going to move it over to this side. I'm not doing that panel. So this bit is, I'm going to move it so it hides this bit of cardboard, and it will give you a little bit of an edge, which it hasn't got. So I'm just going to take off a smidge because I'd like to see that edge. This left hand corner, I'm just taking a bit off. So I'm going to push it right to that side, and then I want this little edge to be seen. So that is ready. So I'm going to cry over this lovely piece of DSP that I can't use. Again, I'm going to use wet glue. Now I'm going to put it over this side, right to the edge, but not over the edge, covering what I should be covering. Right to the edge, gives me a little wiggle room. I don't want that paper to go over the join, and then bring it down. Make sure it's flush. A little bit of an edge on that side, and it's all nice. Then this one, just going to check it is correct. Do I need to do any cutting? No, I don't. So I'm just going to glue this bit. Now this bit and that bit is just a few millimeters difference. So when you get your you cut your paper, make sure you cut the right measurement for this one. Okay, so you don't want it to go over the join. It should cover from top to bottom really well, so you get a nice neat finish. Then this is your middle panel, just checking that I'm happy with it before I get it stuck on. So lots of glue. Take your piece on, again covering the cardboard, making sure that is all done. Use your bone folder, need be. So then just going to check this as well. Now that's covering the cardboard a little bit, so I'm just going to take a bit of a shimmy bit off that, so just tiny bit. If I go wrong, I know I've got more DSP, so make sure nice sharp blade. You don't want to take too much off though. If you don't feel confident with that, just be careful, because you want that little edge so it comes up, because otherwise it will sort of make the paper lift a little bit. So you need to have it so that, make sure you're happy with it. Could almost do with another bit, but I'm going to leave it at that, because otherwise I don't want to cut too much away. So move it over maybe slightly. Yeah. Make sure that comes up. Make sure that is bent. Just take your time over this. This is the main folder, and I think just needs a little bit of time spent on it. Make sure it bends and it comes into that sort of rectangular bit like that. Comes over well. So that bit we're not going to do yet. We're going to do the pockets now. So the pockets, I'm going to start with the left hand side according to what the tutorial said. So put that aside. Now I've already cut my left hand side. Make sure that you're cutting it in landscape style, ensuring the direction of the paper, if whatever you choose. Now sit down for a little while. So then with this is the bottom bit, that's the top. I'm going to just bend that over, bend that over, bend that over, like that. Bend this, make sure it's going to go at right angles. So let me show you I've already pre-made what I call the middle pocket, and this is what it looks like. So you need the paper not stuck down. You need the paper in order to glue your pocket onto the middle section, like this. Let's stand up. So this bit, don't forget, you need to bring that in a bit, because if it's skew and a slant, that's how it will lay in your folder. So we need to bring that in when we glue it, and make sure that that is straight, these sides. This bit I just found easier to put paper clips on. This is dry now, so I can use that for that side. So we're doing this pocket, the left hand pocket. So what I'm going to do, this is my bottom bit, this is my side bit, that is my top. I'm going to do the top first, turn it round. That is going to be cut up the imaginary line where your join is. Going to cut up that side, and then this little rectangle here is going to be cut. So this bit is going to fold over there, so I'm going to take little edge bit off, so it's like that. And then same again, cut up the imaginary line, right angles, and then wedge into this bit, wedging into this bit. So there we go. Let's just show you that with one here so you can see it. So this is, remember, this is the top bit. That's going to fold over, that's going to fold over, that's going to fold over, and I'm going to glue that now so that I know I've done that bit. So fold that over, fold that over, and you don't want the paper really to go across. That is slightly, so I've just done a little wedge there. Okay, so we've done that bit. So this bit, turn it round. I'm going to put it on, leave it on this paper so you can see what I'm doing. The darker background you can't really see. So with this bit, you're going to cut up right up to there. You're going to cut right up to there, and then again you don't want this rectangular bit, so I've taken that off. Then I'm going to cut across here because I want this little square here. But I'm just going to take a little bit of a wedge off on that little square. It doesn't matter that this looks a bit tatty, you're not going to see it. Same thing on this side, cut up the side bit, cut up that side bit, take this off. This is right angles, I don't want to wedge it, I need this bit, so I'm going to cut that into sort of square shape. Then I need to wedge just a little bit, not a lot. So let's see, this is what it should look like. Okay, so two little squares that I've wedged. This is a straight edge, that is a straight edge. Okay, so now I am going to make it like this. So I'm going to fold this back so it's not too much tension on the glue. Fold that over, fold that over, right, so it's flush against the cardboard. Fold that over, fold this over. So it's not too much for the glue to hold if you've already folded it. Make sure that is folded, that is folded, these two sides are folded, so it's a bit of give, and then you have your little pocket like this. These two ones are going to come up and they are going to bend inwards, and then I do the sides first and then I bring this up to the top, and that is what I'm going to glue, these two bits. So let's do that again. These two little square things come up because they are going to go to the side like this. In fact, we can glue that, can't we? Glue that. That's going to go to the side. This is going to come up. Sides are going to go in, and then we're going to bring that over. I'm going to do one at a time, one corner at a time. bring that up there, bring that up there, get my little paper clip. With wet glue you've got a little bit of time. Put your paper clip in because it takes a little time to get that in. Then put that so that it's held together. So you get a nice little rectangle here. Takes a little bit of time, bit fiddly. And then same with the other side. I'm going to put my paper clip in, that's easier. So that glue is going to go on this side. Good dollop of glue. So that is going to come to the side, come up first, and then the top bit. It doesn't matter if you do it the other way around, it's not the end of the world. You do whatever you, as long as you've got a little edge that is like this. Okay, so that's going to stay like that, and it doesn't. let's keep my finger on it until it stays. So making sure that that is straight as well. Okay, so you need good strong glue for this. So in the end you want this to be glued. This panel, this bottom panel, and that. It's the paper that's being glued. So I'm going to get my folder. So I'm just going to position it while it's sort of drying. I'm going to position it so that it's, I'm going to take the little clips off, but I'm just positioning it to see how far from the bottom I will go. There's no point doing it quite big because I made this so that it would get a slimline envelope in, and that will peep out the top. So I need to come down a little bit and then pop it in. So you only want half a centimetre or so, or a quarter of an inch, I would say. Okay, so only that much. So now I think this is ready. Yep, this is ready. That side's ready. So then I'm going to take the plunge and find my glue, and lots of glue, lots of glue. Not too much glue that it splodges on the outside, but that's how much glue to put on. So then take it, push these in a little bit at the top, position it imaginary, you're doing central from this side and this side, and then go for it. Be brave. So you're just gonna pop it on, make sure this is straight. So as you're holding it, just put your fingers there, give it a few seconds. Once you've given it that few seconds, what you can do is, I'm going to take my bone folder and then I'm going to turn it round and go from the other side and poke it onto the paper. So once you're happy with that, turn it round, see that paper, you can see the bottom is not quite stuck on. So this is a little bit tricky. Just use your bone folder, make sure. You might get a bit of oozing of glue if you put too much on. Doesn't matter because you can cover this bit. So I've made a folder that is not covered so that you can see where the magnet goes, and I've made a folder that is covered. so that you can see what it looks like. So once you're happy, I'm happy with that. So that's that side done. Then I'm going to do this side. So this is going to go there, but how do I do it so that it's neat and tidy? Well, I'm going to show you a little trick that I do. I'm going to glue it, glue all that panel, then I'm going to put it on top of this like that. Okay, top of it so it's flush at the side, flush at the bottom, so they both come together like that. Then I'm going to hold it with this hand and the bottom so that it doesn't move. Then I'm going to take this and I'm going to make it flush with that side, and then come over and glue it down. Hold it in position for a few seconds. That's what I love about Tombow. Hold it in for a few seconds, 30 seconds or so, and then maybe when it's even semi-dried so that you see what it's like, just in case it's moved a little bit. You see, you can see that that is a nice and neat. These are the same, and it's not higgledy-piggledy, it's sort of, it's nice and flush at the side. I'm just going to turn it over so you notice that this pocket is deeper than this. This is 2 centimeters and this is 1.5. So you can see from that that this is nearer that side. It's not quite stuck down, so I'm going to keep my hand on it. If need be, put a little block or something heavy, and it should glue together well. So that is the first part of this video. I'm going to do actually no, let's do the, otherwise we haven't completed this part. Just need to make sure that's glued together. So in your packs you also have got 2 magnets. Now everything is sticking to the magnets. So I bought these off Amazon. They are very strong magnets. Oh, just want to come apart. So one of those and another one, but I'm not going to put it together. And then they come with these little pads. Comes in a little pack like that. So I have to put it to one side because as you can see, all of that is getting stuck to it. Right, keep them apart. Get your little sticky and stick your sticky onto one side. Okay, so then I'm going to put it around about here, because that is where it's going to end up, the second magnet. So I'm going to take that sticky and it's going to be behind this, around about here. Okay, so you've got to imagine that the second one is on this right hand panel. So take the sticky off and go for it. Push it down so that it's and sort of in the middle a little bit, okay, and then just stick it down. Okay, that's where it is. I've stuck mine. Not too much to this far corner because you need to wrap your DSP around the magnet that's going to go on this side. So that's where it is, and then I'm going to cover it with paper so you're not going to see that magnet. So then I'm going to take it, pop it there, and then take the other magnet, and then it's going to naturally be drawn to it. One side won't, it will repel it like this. This doesn't want to know, but it will automatically turn itself round. So then take your second piece of sticky. These magnets come in a pack of 12, so you get, if you wanted to do this again, you get 6 pairs basically off Amazon, but I quite like them because they're nice and flat. And then I'm going to take this, make sure this is flush against there, and also flush at the top and the bottom, push that over and then stick it down. Not too tight, just so that you get a nice rectangle, I should say, rectangle bit. So then I'm going to prise it open like that, and that is where my last piece of DSP that I have saved, and I'm going to come over. This is going to be slightly wide, but it may be that you need to just shimmy off a little bit, which I'm going to do. Just take a little bit off. Oops. Right, so just take a little bit off. That's how much I'm taking, and if it's not enough I would do that again, you know, so that so remember it's got to mould around here, so I'm going to mould this around that. That's why you need the extra bit of paper. Okay, so bit of glue. I'm not going to put glue in the middle, just going to put glue on the outside. Okay, so pop that on there. Try not to get it so that it's on the edge and flush, and then again mould it around here. Take your time. Always say take your time. You're not sure, try not, it's not the end of the world if for whatever reason it breaks, as in the paper you've got extra of this, or you could have another sort of colour, couldn't you? You do get a bit of a lump, that's the only thing, but in my first one I put a flower on top just to hide it, you do get a bit of a lump, a few creases maybe. Oh, actually Jane at our summer workshop last week, what she did was put some little dimensionals round, and sort of it was easier, and I think that was a good idea actually, if you've got any. But it's too late for me now. Should have passed that tip on early, shouldn't I? So there we go. So that is gonna then snap shut and hold together really well. So in the next video I'm going to show you how to do the calendar, and it's the same idea for the other side of the stamps, and then I'm going to show you how to do the tag. So that'll be another video, but that is the basis of your stationery folder, which I hope you'll be very pleased with. Okay, so join me next time for the rest of it. Okay, see you soon.